For a wonderful day in sports. Opening day for America's national pastimes.
This was about 2 months after he took office. That was an interesting experience in its own right because it was so structured, and I was told, you will say every word that we write out. You will not deviate from the script, and go.
Nowadays, $20 barely gets you a burger and fries, or maybe a quarter tank of gas. You know what it will get you though? For just $20 a month, you can get unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data from my cell phone company, Pure Talk. And this is top tier coverage of America's most dependable 5G network. I want to make sure you heard that. Pure Talk gives you the same quality of service as AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, but for half the cost. The average family saves almost $1,000 a year, all with no contracts and no activation fees. You can bring your phone or get great deals on the latest iPhones and Androids. To make a switch, dial pound 250 and say keyword Brandon Tatum. When you do, you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Choose a wireless company who shares our values, who supports our military and veterans, who creates American jobs, and who refuses to advertise on fake news networks. Instead, they pay us. Dial pound 250 and say keyword Brandon Tatum and make the switch today so you can actually afford the burger and fries. That's pound 250, pound 250, and say keyword Brandon Tatum.
Let's go with Sage Steele. I know Sage I think she was a former, I think she worked for CNN and one of these places, and she worked ESPN. I don't know why it was CNN. She worked for ESPN. People thought she was a leftist, a liberal, which I think she was sort of a liberal. And then she came out the closet as a conservative, and she kind of exposed the industry at ESPN and kind of how they put her through certain things and enforced her to do things she didn't really agree with, meaning even interviews and scripting things, and she just had enough of it and ended up leaving. But this is Sage Steele explaining her interview with Joe Biden that was completely scripted, and she believed the public needs to know about it. Clip 6.
Here as we get set for a wonderful day in sports. Opening day for America's national pastimes.
This was about 2 months after he took office. That was an interesting experience in its own right because it was so structured, and I was told, you will say every word that we write out. You will not deviate from the script, and go. To the word, like every single question was scripted, gone over dozens of times by many executives, editors and executives. Absolutely. I was on script and was told not to deviate. It was very much, this is what you will ask, this is how you will say it. No follow-ups. No follow-ups. Next. I knew that this was a lot bigger than just the wonderful editors that I worked with. This went up to the fourth floor, as we said, that were all the bosses, the top executives, the decision makers are the president of our company, the CEO, where they all were.
Are you shocked? I understand their structure, right? I mean, you're interviewing the president of the United States of America. If it was a guy that was worth a darn, then maybe it would make sense for you to be focused on perfection. But at the same time, what's the point of you having homeboy on if y'all not gonna keep it real? If it's, we don't need to hear him talk if it's scripted, because he ain't really talking. It's propaganda. If I was the president, man, I'd be like, I'll go on anybody's show. If I wanted to, I'll go on your show. You ask me some questions I don't want to answer. I'm going to say I'm not answering that. Next question. If you ask me something I can't answer, I'm going to say I cannot answer that. Next question. By and large, as the president of the United States, you should be able to be comfortable communicating. Now, like right now, I don't have any restrictions. I can say what I want to say. And so I don't care about going to nobody podcast. People be asking me, hey, is there something off limits? I'm like, no, it's nothing off limits. Ask what you want to ask. There ain't nothing off limits to ask me. And if it's something I feel like shouldn't be publicly spoken about, I'm just going to tell you. No, that don't make sense. I wouldn't say that publicly. What you and your wife do last night. Okay. I'm not publicly. That don't make any sense. But if you asking me, Brandon, what do you think about gay marriage? Brandon, what do you think about heterosexual marriage? Hey, Brandon, what do you think about the world? What do you think about cats and dogs or what's something? Yeah, let's talk. But I'm not gonna get into certain things, and you can be honest about saying I'm not getting into that because of this. I think it's a personal question that it's irrelevant to the conversation. Ask me better questions. But nowadays, politicians are so, like, this is the thing. Like, these people are actors. Like, they go to school and they learn how to be politicians. There are certain ways that you talk and you dress and how you approach a press conference. And they get so educated on this stuff, they become robots. So therefore, it's just, you just plug the robot into the role. And they are a politician. That's why some of the politicians that are like very genuine and this thing is so squeaky. They're very genuine and they're heartfelt and you kind of feel connected to them. It's because that's a real human being. That actually have emotions, that actually come from where you come from, that actually have original thought and have a plan for the future for his or her community. And they become appealing. I'm telling you, like, people that are authentic are like rare diamonds. Listen, I think I am pretty smart. I think I have a good EQ. My IQ may be all right. But I'm pretty savvy and I got a lot of things in my mind and I spend a lot of time thinking through things so I can process things pretty well and I have a lot of common sense. But one of the reasons I'm popular because I just keep it real. Ain't that crazy? I didn't go to school for journalism. I didn't go to school for digital media production and anchoring and doing all this stuff. I've never done a radio show a day in my life. I didn't even listen to radio. Why do people like listening to me on the radio? Because I'm just a real person. I think that too much education, structured education, can be bad for people. At some point, you got to learn how to innovate and think on your own. You can't just follow a script. When I do speeches, I don't know how people can write a speech. I don't think it's impactful if you write a speech. Maybe if you write it and memorize it, maybe. But I think the impact is you having this stuff in your mind. This is a part of who you are. You're saying things that are a reflection of your conscious mind. Maybe even your subconscious mind. And that's authentic. It comes across that way. I don't expect the person to get on the stage and be perfect. I expect the person to get on the stage and I really know what they feel. Not some brilliant speech that they had a speechwriter write and it's not their original thought. It's just their voice on this speech. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with writing a speech. If that's how you roll, then that's how you roll. But like for me, man, I go into speaking engagements and I say, what is my ultimate goal? I want to motivate and most of this, I speak at colleges. So I want to encourage these young people that they're on the right side of this and to be bold and courageous and give a big screw you to these liberal nut jobs that try to make them feel bad for being conservative. Screw that. Big Tatum gonna come to the campus and I'm gonna say the stuff that they ain't gonna want to say. And they ain't finna do nothing to me. I don't go to the school. What you gonna do? Fail me? I already graduated. What you gonna do? Put your hands on me? Make my day. I got excited right there for a minute, thinking about somebody putting their hands on me at an event. That ain't gonna happen. So that's the thing I want to accomplish is just getting motivated and encouraging the people to tell the truth. And so I start with that premise and then I say, okay, what stories do I tell that present the message? What topics am I going to talk about and go from there? And I may put in my mind like, okay, I'm going to start with my background, kind of where I came from. Boom, tell my story of that. I want to talk about abortion. I want to talk about gay marriage. I want to talk about Christianity. I want to talk about feckless Christians. I want to do that. Okay, those are the things I'm going to talk about. Let's go. And then I say, this is kind of what I want to do. And I always say, God, use me to do what you want to do. I can't write some script and then I'm trying to read this script and then God want me to go somewhere else and I can't be flexible because I just wrote this script that's going to get me through the 45-minute speech that I got to give. Nah, I don't do that, man. I talk for 2 hours at these events. Sometimes I have people on the edge of their seat for 2 hours straight. After I do the speech and then the Q&A, 2 hours straight. People don't even want to leave. I'll be there for 3 hours. And some of it is a gift, but the other is just it's authentic. These are my original authentic thoughts. I'm not rehearsing and regurgitating nothing. I have a genuine perspective when it comes to law enforcement because I was a cop. I have a genuine perspective when it comes to athletes and university stuff, NIL money and what all that stuff is, because I was an athlete and I played college football and we used to get paid and we didn't have none of this stuff. We didn't have a transfer portal or none of that stuff. So I know what it's like to be a college athlete, so I can speak on that. I grew up around nothing but black people my whole life. So I can speak on what goes on in the black community. So, all of these experiences that I've had, been to a ton of Trump rallies. I met Trumps a few times. And so it's my original thought from these things. I got saved in 2008, baptized in Jesus' name, filled with God's Spirit. I spoke in tongues. I've had prophetic dreams before. I only had 2 that I remember vividly. Maybe some of them are other prophetic dreams. I just didn't. At the time, I used to write them things down. I used to write my dreams down. And I had 2 dreams that came true verbatim. And I still, to this day, I don't even believe in myself, but I had to remember that did happen. My homeboy was moving out, and God showed me some secrets about him that he tried to hide. I caught him on it. My other homeboy was playing in a secular music band outside of church. And that dude said on the phone to me exactly what he said on the phone to me in my dream. Insane. Hold the phone.